Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one so that you have more context. Also, I do have two donation links down below in the description where you can go over to official websites where you can donate to the Ukrainian refugees and to Ukraine's military. Thank you all for supporting us. Thank you for being with us. And let's get on with the video. So jumping into the daily chart, as you can see, the blue channel down here that we have is something that we have been adhering to for a very long time. Since January of this year, we had a move to the downside. You create the support. You go above the medium line just slightly, and the medium line is this dotted line that I'm talking about, which cuts the channel in half. So you come down to the channel support, you go all the way up to the resistance. Once again, you come down to the channel support, you lose it, but you create another wide support trend line that we'll be talking about in this video. You have another move to the upside, but this time you get rejected from the medium line of the channel, and right now you've dropped once again below it, and now you are testing the support of the channel. So we'll see if we continue adhering to this channel, but I do want to mention the medium dotted trend line that cuts the channel in half. That is a potential resistance level that we need to take a look at, because you have hit it multiple times over here. You have one hit, you have a second hit. Potentially, if we see a relief rally from the support of this channel, you could run into it once again, and that would be somewhere around $7.80, $8. Now, talking about the two white trend lines here. So they originate from this falling wedge here that we were in. We broke through, we met our target, and then some. You went all the way up to, let's see, was that the 0.236 of the fib? I think it was. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I can actually bring the fib retracement like this, so it's easier to see the levels. So we had a rejection from the 0.236, and here are the swing low, and here is the swing high of the fib retracement. So as you can see, this was a downtrend that we were in, and right now we're testing the support. And if you want to set targets to the downside, it's really easy to do. Basically, you take a fib retracement from the high to the local low over here, as you can see, and you get yourself the 1.618. And the 1.618 here was our target, because when you lose the first fib level, when you lose the local low of the fib retracement, you create yourself a technical target at the 1.618 fib level. And that has been met perfectly. As you can see, we've landed on this level and we're hovering above it. We could see a capitulation to the second fib level without a doubt. For that, Bitcoin would have to drop below $15,000. Altcoins would have these huge wicks to the downside, you would be hoping you get filled on these levels, but nothing is for certain. That's why I like to have my buy limit orders set in advance. So going back to the falling wedge, we got a little off track. I do apologize. Sometimes I do that during the videos, but it's just that I have so much to talk about when we talk about technical analysis. So we had this falling wedge, and as you can see, I extended the support and the resistance line of the falling wedge because we are still adhering to those lines. So as you can see, the previous resistance of the falling wedge was support once we landed back on it. As you can see, we're holding it as support right now. And the previous support of the falling wedge is holding us as support as well. So these two trend lines are important, because if you lose the first white trend line, you could target the bottom one, okay? And at that point, we would be targeting the second fib level here, but that hasn't happened yet, okay? We're still in the realms of this blue channel to the downside. If we lose it, then you can look for the 1.618 target here. On the right side, we have the price tag $5.60. Personally, I do have Chainlink, and personally, I just bought some today. I share all of my trade alerts on Patreon. The link is in the description. If you want to trade with me, you want to get my trade alerts, then feel free to join in. I do trade with some of my patrons. We get really juicy trades sometimes, but not a financial advice by any means. Also, I want you to pay attention to this pink trend line over here. Not pink, orange, I do apologize. I'm not colorblind, I promise. So let me just get a different color that you can see. Okay, let's get a yellow one here. So this yellow trend line is a resistance trend line that we have been back testing for multiple times, and we have had a move above it, but we couldn't hold it as support. And right now we're trading in a range here, but if you see a little pump, you see a relief rally from the bottom of the channel, you could absolutely wick to this yellow trend line, which would be potentially somewhere at $8.60, $8.75. So that would be a really good opportunity for a swing trade, or even if you're looking to get a quick flip, whatever it is, this would be a profitable trade, and that would be a nice 40% trade at least. So pay attention to these support trend lines. Have the yellow resistance trend line on, because it is really important to have trend lines. And if we go to the daily RSI, we have had a move above the light blue trend line over here, but we ended up coming back down. We couldn't hold it as support. So this light blue trend line does have a couple of bounces of resistance. So that's why I have it on the chart, because potentially once you start pumping, this could be the level to take some profits once you touch it. And also the orange trend line is something that I'm keeping an eye on as well, because you did have a bounce here back in April. You did have a bounce here in May. And right now, you came back down below it slightly, but you ended up staying above it. So we are looking for a potential back test of support here. If we get a capitulation, you can look for support here on the orange trend line. And from there, we could start moving to the upside. So that's regarding the daily RSI. I do quickly want to switch over to the weekly chart on the Binance website. Moving over to the weekly chart on Binance, as you can see, we are in some sort of a falling wedge here on the weekly chart with a potential technical target at, let's see, $7.66, which is a nice 25.5% trade from where we are right now. A falling wedge is basically a triangle facing downwards, right? A 45-degree angle to the downside usually, and you get tighter as you close up on the pattern, and the tighter you get, the more chances of a breakout you have. 75% chance of breaking to the upside, 25% chance of breaking to the downside. So this is not a guarantee by any means. You would still be targeting the second fib level here at $4.59 if you started losing the support of the falling wedge. However, we do have a resistance before we can get to our technical target. We do have a resistance at the 1.618 here, which is at $6.86. I believe this is a slightly different fib than from what I had on the TradingView chart. Here, the swing high is, or is this not? No, this is not. No. I do think this is a slightly different chart, but you can see that we are potentially in this falling wedge, and if we get a break to the upside, great. If we don't and you end up coming back down, it's also great, even better for me, because I can get the chance to buy Chainlink at super cheap prices, guys. This is the most important thing to do in a bear market. You want to accumulate as much as you can without putting yourself, at the point, without driving yourself bankrupt, obviously, but millionaires are made in bear markets, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do in the next couple of years. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I want to mention the weekly chart over here. We have the weekly RSI. We are in an incredibly large falling wedge here as well, and we're tightening up in the apex as well. So if you see a break of this resistance trend line on the weekly chart over here, this would be a major sign that we are flipping bullish. And the last bear market, Chainlink did move against Bitcoin, and it you know, if it happened once, maybe it can happen again. We'll see. We're getting staking this year, so potentially we could see some back tests of resistance, potentially the 1.618, potentially the weekly 20 EMA, which is something you need to keep an eye on as well. That is an important level. And yeah, that is pretty much it. If I missed out anything on the charts, let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join my Patreon. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.